Were you aware that Hitler and his entire staff was Catholic? Did you know that the Nazis dabbled in the occult? Did you know that the New York Times of April 14th, 1990 quotes George Bush as stating, "Let's forgive the Nazi war criminals"? I wonder why he said that. Did you know that the Los Angeles Times, December 12th, 1984, quoted Pope Jean Paul II as saying, "Don't go to God for forgiveness of sins, come to me"? The Pope committed blasphemy, thus fulfilling prophecy according to the book of Revelation. The Pope is telling us that he is God. Remember, never worship a leader. If you worship a leader, you then no longer have the ability to recognize when you have been deceived. On July 21st, 1773, Pope Clement XIV forever annulled and extinguished the Jesuit order. France, Spain, and Portugal had independently come to realize that the Jesuits were meddling in the affairs of the state and were therefore enemies of the government. The Pope's action was a response to pressure applied by the monarchies. King Joseph of Portugal signed a decree, quote, by which the Jesuits were denounced as traitors, rebels, and enemies of the realm. Pope Pius VII in August 1814 reinstated the Jesuits to all of their former rights and privileges. From William Cooper's Behold the Pale Horse. I don't know about you, but I see something terribly wrong here. You mean to tell me that the Jesuits were disbanded by damn near every government and religious order only to be restored to their former rights and privileges by Pope Pius VII? It seems to me that they have infiltrated both the political and religious realms and achieved victory on both ends. I don't know if these Jesuits are real problems that we will also face, or if they are trying to help those in need of their help by causing revolts. There never would be a good reason to revolt if the person doesn't wish to revolt for the cause that is at hand, while for the person who wishes to revolt, everything is a good reason. This is justice at its finest, because no country should be allowed to oppress the people of the nation to do their bidding. It's one thing to get the people to do their bidding for a just cause only at the will of the citizens, rather than making them do it by force. This nation has practiced this type of oppressive behavior when it was legal for citizens to own slaves, when they initiated the Jim Crow laws, and during the Vietnam War when they forced the men in this country to fight, when they initiated the draft and arrested those who chose not to fight for this country that treats them so unjustly. I perfectly understand why the government is trying so hard to get the people to give up their civil liberties, because it will cause a problem when the government starts to violate these rights, such as the right to free speech, the right to protest, the right to bear arms, and the right to a fair trial. If they can abolish all of the constitutional rights with a promise of security, then they can launch an all-out assault against the people of this nation. Benjamin Franklin said it best when he said, quote, "Those who give up their civil liberties for so-called security deserve neither liberty nor security." I believe he was correct in saying this, because if a person gives up their civil rights just to be safe from foreign and domestic terrorism, then what will keep you safe from the government when they decide to violate your rights as an American citizen? If you were to give up your every right you have for me to protect you, then who would protect you from me? Get the idea? For each law that is passed by Congress allowing the president to destroy our civil liberties, that is exactly what's going to happen. A country where the leaders rule the people with an iron fist only end in total enslavement of the people, anarchy, or both will spread across the country. I, for one, believe that the government will even go as far as to drop a nuclear bomb on this country, just to ensure that the people give in and give up whatever remaining civil rights we have left, just so they can protect us from any more terrorist attacks. When it happens, don't say you weren't warned or that you had no idea that this was going to happen. I mean, you all signed on for this each time you continue to support a system that's already been proven not to work for your benefit, such as voting for your country's leader. Since they cheated in the 2000 presidential election, electing George W. Bush to his first term as president, the people of this nation should have gave up on the system as soon as they seen with their own two eyes that the government will now pick who they want to run this country for the people, and that you no longer have any real say-so. What you thought to be a free country will now become the same as every other country that the history books teaches to be a wrong way to govern a nation, like Hitler in Germany, Napoleon in France, Mussolini in Italy, Stalin in Russia, and Mao in China. The books told how they tortured the civilians to submission and dominated them with an army willing to attack any who would oppose such authority. If you think this country's leaders won't do the same, then you're mistaken. The only problem I see is by them trying to keep this and many other things a secret from prying eyes can only mean that there is a conspiracy behind all of this trickery and deceit. Why would a government feel the need to trick people into giving up all their rights that were put forth to protect us from oppressive authority are now being legislated away each passing day as they claim that they can protect us from terrorists, but can't do so as long as the Constitutional Bill of Rights stand in their way? Just doesn't make any sense to me. If a person, unconscious, needed somebody to save his life, how can his right to refuse my help prevent me from helping him? I mean, after all, he is unconscious, right? What I'm trying to say is that they don't need to get rid of our rights in order to protect us from terrorism, but they do need to get rid of our rights that protect us from the government. As long as you understand this, then the rest of this will come into focus like a crystal clear picture, and you will now understand why I wrote and read this, and it will lay the groundwork for all to comprehend that there is a true conspiracy. And I'm continuing the work of William Cooper. Thank y'all.